administration is estimated to impose almost $50,000 in costs on the average American household, whereas my first term agenda reduced regulatory costs by almost $11,000 per household. So let's see. Lower the cost of housing and expand housing supply, eliminate unnecessary administrative expenses and rent-seeking practices that increase healthcare costs. Ooh, we love to eliminate rent-seeking. I'm sure he'll do that, you know? If there's anything I trust the Trump administration to do, it's to not allow corporations to curry direct favor with the government through regulatory capture, you know? I believe him. Eliminate counterproductive requirements that raise the cost of home appliances. What the hell does that mean? Create employment opportunities for American workers, including drawing discouraged workers into the labor force. Drawing discouraged workers into the labor force. They're going after the hikikomori vote. Eliminating harmful, coercive climate policies that increase costs of food and fuel. If anyone's despairing over this, just remember that no matter how competently this administration executes its agenda, nothing will stop the planet being burnt to cinders soon. So, you ever reach that point of hopium where you're like, okay, the torment nexus can't continue forever because eventually the oceans will rise and swallow us, and the only things left will be like deep sea fish or something. Yeah, the sun will explode one day. It's not all that bad. Here we go. Granting pardons and commutation of sentences for certain offenses relating to the events at or near the United States Capitol on January 6th. He actually pardoned basically all of them. He pardoned like 15,000 people. He pardoned even people convicted of violent offenses, like even people who assaulted police officers. So all the questions he was asked about, like, you know, are you going to pardon the ones who committed, you know, violent offenses against police officers? And he was like, well, we'll have to see. A lot of people didn't do violent. He just pardoned all of them, basically. And yeah, the guy with the Auschwitz shirt, some of the people like very directly seen attacking police officers. This is basically like, and we saw this with the brown shirts as well, in the Weimar Republic, where the judges started being extremely lenient to Nazi belligerents, like leading up to the war. The basic like message here is, you are my militia, you can do what you want. You will be given like enormous legal leeway no matter what you do, like whatever brown shit you do. Well, supposedly it was in retaliation for Biden issuing pardons to his entire family last minute. Bullshit. He would have done it anyway. No way. No way, no how. Application of Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act to TikTok. Withdrawing the United States from the World Health Organization. Yay. Yippee. Restoring accountability to policy influencing positions in the federal workforce, holding former government officials accountable for election interference and improper disclosure of sensitive government information. So here we're going after the political enemies. Declaring a national emergency at the southern border, memorandum to resolve the backlog of security clearances for Executive Office of the President personnel, America First trade policy. Apparently, he's planning on implementing 25% tariffs on on Mexico and on Canada starting February 1st. We'll see if he actually does it, because that would be economically ruinous for a lot of people. So I feel like he's going to back off of it. I don't know if those 25% tariffs are part of this executive order or one of the others, but he did say that he was going to do that. What about China? Why China? Unleashing American energy, that's drill, baby, drill. Clarifying the military's role in protecting the territorial integrity of the United States. That means go down to the border and shoot Mexicans. Realigning the U.S. refugee admissions program. That means not having one. Protecting the meaning and value of American citizenship. Is this the eliminating birthright citizenship? Yes, yes it is. This is the Constitution, what Constitution? Executive order, which has, by the way, already been met with a boatload of lawsuits from apparently a bunch of blue states and San Francisco specifically. So, you know, really leading the front on that one. We'll see if it matters. You know, we'll see if it matters. Yeah. A lot of these will face legal challenge. Yeah, but like, who knows what the Supreme Court's going to do? Under this executive order, Kamala Harris would not be a legal U.S. citizen. Yeah, it's pretty funny, right? What does withdrawing from the WHO mean for most people? An enormous loss in our ability to coordinate on epidemiological research globally with regard to, you know, investigation of previous pandemics, future pandemics, what we can do to prevent them, that sort of thing. Yeah, it means COVID too. Securing our borders. I've heard about this. I've heard rumors about that one. Putting people over fish. Stopping radical environmentalism to provide water to Southern California. He talked about this when he did that that campaign event down in SoCal. I remember that. Restoring the death penalty and protecting public safety. Great. Promoting beautiful federal civic architecture. Well, I believe in this one. Restoring accountability for career senior executives, declaring a national energy emergency. Temporary withdrawal from all areas on the outer continental shelf from offshore wind leasing and review federal government's leasing and permitting practice for wind projects. Because they're killing the whales. They're killing the whales. Reevaluating and realigning U.S. foreign aid. Organization of the National Security Council and subcommittees. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Global tax deal. Parentheses, global tax deal. Protecting the American people against invasion. I've heard about this. There's a lot to go over, folks. Unleashing Alaska's extraordinary resource potential. That's drill, baby, drill. Protecting the United States from foreign terrorists, other national security and public safety threats. This is probably about designating the cartels as terrorist groups, which would give the president the ability to unilaterally declare war on them and invade Mexico. Remember, in theory, you need to ask Congress before declaring war. In practice, there are like a million workarounds to that, and the designation of cartels as foreign terrorist entities would give the president leeway to basically do whatever he wanted. America First Policy Directive to the Secretary of State, establishing and implementing the president's Department of Government Efficiency. Yo! No longer with Vivek. Because of that phenomenal, we all need to be more like Steve Urkel post. That post was amazing. It was very funny. I'm curious, what are the details on this one? Okay. This executive order establishes DOGE by modernizing federal technology and software to maximize government efficiency and productivity. Agency, okay, we're defining the terms, blah, blah. DOGE structure hereby. The United States Digital Service is hereby publicly renamed as the United States DOGE Service, or USDS, and shall be established in the executive office of the president. Okay, so we're actually federalizing it. We're actually formalizing DOGE, but I guess technically it's USDS. The whole point was that it be called DOGE. Yeah, now it's like the US DOGE-S, USDOGES. Ruined it. I bet Elon's seething. There shall be a USDS administrator established in the executive office of the president who shall report to the White House Chief of Staff. There is further established within USDS, in accordance with Section 3161 of Title 5 U.S. Code, temporary org known as the U.S. DOGE Service Temporary Organization. The U.S. DOGE Service Temporary Organization should be headed to DOGE in consultation with USDS, each agency head shall establish within their respective agencies a DOGE team of at least 4 employees, which may include special government employees hired or assigned within 30 days of the date of this order. Agency heads shall select the DOGE team members in consultation with the USDS administrator. Each DOGE team will typically include 1 DOGE team lead, 1 engineer, 1 human resources specialist, and 1 attorney. Phenomenal. We have DOGE task teams, task forces. Acronym and an acronym. Yeah, it really doesn't roll off the tongue. This sounds very efficient. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like this isn't very actionable at the moment, or at the very least, this doesn't describe anything very specific. Defending women from gender ideology extremism and restoring biological truth to the federal government. Ending radical and wasteful government DEI programs and preferencing. Restoring the federal hiring process and restoring merit to government service. Designating cartels and other organizations as foreign terrorist organizations and specially designated global terrorists. We're going to be running drone strikes on Mexico, man. It's going to be pretty rough. Fucking itchy ass nose. Jesus. The trans EO is incredibly devastating, honestly. Yeah, probably. Yap, 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 yap. You can talk a lot. It's pretty bad. At the end of the day, trans people's existence has never come down to acknowledgement from the federal government. If that was the case, they wouldn't have existed up until wokeness was invented in 2012 or something. So, it really just comes down to what extent of explicit persecution will be enacted on their behalf. You can't really close the Pandora's box in this one, The trans bill also uses language that implies fetal personhood at conception. Yeah, I saw that. Ooh. It is the policy of the U.S. to recognize 2 sexes, male and female. These sexes are not changeable and are grounded in fundamental and incontrovertible reality. Under my direction, the executive branch will enforce all sex protective laws to promote this reality, and the following definition shall govern all executive interpretation of and application of federal law and administrative policy. Sex shall refer to an individual's immutable biological classification as either male or female. Sex is not a synonym for and does not include the concept of gender identity. Well, I mean, that's wokeness, actually. Sex and gender are 2 different things. Wow. Women or woman, and girls or girl shall mean adult and juvenile human female